Nightreign has been out for over a week now, and I'm sure many of you are waiting in great anticipation, foaming in the mouth, for me to tell you what you should think about the game. So, here it goes. Nightreign is... It's alright. It's pretty good. It's basically the Elden Ring you know and love, but faster, smoother, and now it's a roguelite. However, the problem is that pretty good should not be used to describe any Soulsborne games from FromSoft ever, except maybe for Demon Souls, which was, how should I describe it? Alright, completely fucking bullshit. Pretty good nowadays has become code for acceptable. This is fine for almost every other developer out there, but not FromSoft. It sucks because this game could have been something really special, but at its current state, it's dragged down by a variety of issues. In Nightreign, you can play as 8 different characters, each with their own unique stats, weapons they're proficient in, abilities, and ultimate character arts. These make them really excel in different playstyles. For example, the Revenant can summon Spirit Ashes to aid the team in battle, while her high intelligence, faith, and arcane make her great as a caster and for applying bleed. Meanwhile, Guardian acts as not only the team's tank and shield by drawing aggro while holding out his shield, but also does crowd control with his Whirlwind ability, which does AoE damage and stun. All of these characters feel great to play and offer a ton of options when it comes to playstyles. However, this is pretty much all you get when it comes to build freedom and varieties. In Nightreign, when you defeat a boss or a strong enemy, you often get the option of a unique permanent buff for the remainder of the run. The problem here, however, is that most of these times you only get bland stat increases. You can swing a sword 10% harder, your flasks heal a bit more, you now have 10% more stamina, girls can talk to you for 10 more seconds before throwing up. Whoopee! While these are definitely helpful, they don't encourage or enable new builds or creative synergies. They just make numbers go up. I want to play a roguelite RPG not as a McKinsey consultant. The game shines way more when it hands you buffs that actually change how you play, like dealing more damage with enemies that poison or rotted, or triggering AoE explosions just by walking, which works brilliantly on characters like the Guardian or the Recluse. Outside of boss fights, you can also get relics, which are permanent buffs that carry over to future runs. But again, most of these fall into the exact same trap: flat stat increases or boring damage/resistance tweaks. The real fun starts when you get relics that actually do something interesting, enhancing your abilities, drawing aggro while blocking, healing teammates when you use your flask, or even applying buffs to allies when you use certain items. That's where most of the focus should have been. The systems were already in place, From just needed to lean harder into the weird, the specific, the build-defining stuff. But unfortunately, it felt like they were only halfway committed. Despite having a fun and addictive core gameplay loop, it will become clear to anyone with eyes that Nightreign's levels get extremely repetitive after a few runs. You essentially only get a few types of locations: ruins, outdoor enemy camps, ruined cathedrals, mine shafts, small forts, slightly larger forts, and a castle. All of these have the exact same structural layouts, every one, just with different loot, bosses, and enemies. Those sound cool until you realize that almost all of them are recycled from Elden Ring. For weapons, you do get some new ones, but those are only the starting armaments of each character, which you'll likely ditch for better stuff unless you spend precious time to look for upgrades. The minor bosses you get before the Night Lords do have more variations because a lot of them are taken from other FromSoft games, but even they become repetitive. Alright, let's see who we'll get this time. Oh, Tree Sentinel except way less fun. Yay. I really want to fight the Name is King. I haven't gotten him yet. I saw him in the trailer, he looks so cool. Let's see. Name is King, please. Oh, you gotta be fucking shitting me. Come on, man. Thanks, Dark Souls. Outside of these procedurally generated and placed locations, the game does have a shifting earth mechanic, where it will introduce a new unique playable region in the map. However, there are only like 4 of these, so you will get tired of them pretty quick as well. Despite being released in 2025, Nightreign's co-op features feel like they were programmed by a pigeon. And not just any pigeon, one that when asked to design effective communication tools, instead took a steamy shit on its keyboard and flew into a window. There are no voice chats, no text chats, no communication tools, or literally anything that any video game with co-op play has ever. The only thing you have are map paints. What the fuck, FromSoft? Oh shit, he got grabbed. Okay, I gotta get the thing off of him or he'll keep losing health. Alright, just let me get... Okay, no. No, my man, come on, come back here. No, hey! Motherfucker! Come back here. Stay still, stay still. Just stay still for a second. Oh, finally. Wow, if only I had something that could let him know what was going on. Something in the game that could let me... I don't know, this might sound ambitious. Talk to him. The bosses in a Soulsborne game can either make or break it. In Nightreign, however, they didn't do either. Most of the Night Lords have cool aesthetics, interesting moves, and are fun to fight. However, depending on who you're fighting, half to 3/4 of the fight is basically a wild fucking goose chase where you sprint after a boss who just did 100 kilograms of cocaine and is now moving all over the arena just to get one hit in because by the time you reach them, you barely have any stamina. Sure, the fights are cool and look cinematic, but this issue can drain a lot of the fun of fighting them. I'm sorry, I signed up to play Elden Ring, not Elden cross-country running. It's like Ishizaki took a look at Elden Beast and was like, oh yeah, that piece of shit is notoriously hated by everybody. Let's just make every single boss just like that. However, out of all of the bosses this game offers, there is one which genuinely has no redeeming quality. One whose name will be inscribed onto the scriptures as one of the least enjoyable bosses ever put out by From. Augur is probably one of the worst bosses FromSoft has ever made, just below legendary hits like the Bed of Chaos. This jellyfish condom looking Goober basically spends most of the fight floating in the air and waving his hands around to taunt you, while occasionally golden showering at you or pooping out nukes at stage 2. When he finally does touch down, he won't stay there for long and will quickly take flight again after you get a few hits in. Melee characters can focus on the tentacle things he spawned on the ground, which when defeated will spawn a few jellyfishes which will hit him. But that isn't fun. I signed up to find Augur, not hentai tentacles 1 to 30. Is Nightreign a good game by industry standards? Yes. Is Nightreign a good game by FromSoft standards? No. Besides all the stuff I just mentioned, repetitive gameplay, overused assets, etc., this game also has a serious lack of content. Once you beat all the Night Lords, that is pretty much it. You can still grind out mercs to buy cool new skins or do some remembrance quests for some character-specific rewards, but those aren't fun unless you're a Lornat and don't add anything new to the game. Compare that to a game like Helldivers 2. After every mission, you get new things like XP, which levels up your character and gives you access to new armor sets that do different things, emotes, weapons, and new ways to commit war crimes, and currency to buy those things. In Nightreign though, you just get some relics, most of which are likely useless and will be sold, and mercs. There's no sense of progression, and you don't feel like you're working towards anything besides beating the Night Lords. And before you gave me the Cappy, you're just bad and a loser and you clearly get new bitches and just complaining because you suck at Souls games, I'll have you know that back when I was deep in this Soulsborne dark hole, I beat this guy. Pre-patched, without summons, on an NG+6 melee character, and this guy, he was fucking bullshit. So yes, if you're a Soulsborne fans or just curious, I say don't buy this game just yet. It's only $40, which is kind of its saving grace, but even then, wait for a sale or wait until they add new content or patch in some quality of life features, which it definitely will. At its core, Nightreign is a fun, enjoyable game, and many of its problems can be fixed. But until then, it's probably best to wait or game share with a friend who's too nice to say no. That is what I would say until I look a little closely and found out that Wilder, one of the playable characters, has a grapple hook. A grapple hook that tethers to enemies. A grapple hook that lets you fly around the battlefield and really makes you feel like Batman. Which means that Nightreign is actually the greatest game ever made and deserves an 11 out of 10. Go and buy it right now.